Hello everyone, time to talk about the top 22 books to read in 2022. So these are all the books that I really want to get to in 2022. I truly think that 2022 is going to be the best reading year of my life because I feel like I completely know my reading taste. I'm better at seeing if I'm going to vibe a book or not before I pick it up. I'm just very excited for all the books that I'm going to read in 2022, so I have a stunning stack of books in front of me to talk to you about. But before I talk about that, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Audible. I get a lot of my reading done listening to audiobooks because it allows me to multitask. So if I'm like cooking dinner, if I'm at the grocery store, if I'm cleaning, I can listen to an audiobook and I just love it. I love listening to an audiobook. It's honestly one of my favorite things to do. And Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment. So at Audible, you can find the largest selection of audiobooks ranging from bestsellers and new releases to horror, romance, celebrity memoirs, business motivation, and more. And you get even more with Audible's Plus catalog, which has select audiobooks, podcasts, Audible originals, guided fitness and meditation programs, sleep tracks for better rest, and more. So every month, Audible members get one free audiobook and full access to their Plus catalog, which is so incredible. Audible have thousands and thousands of titles to choose from, so you'll always find the perfect title for whatever you're doing, whatever you're feeling, wherever you're going. I've listened to so many amazing audiobooks on Audible, and the audiobook that I'm currently listening to is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. It's basically a memoir from Chanel Miller, and she talks about her experience being a sexual assault survivor, and it's just so important, so powerful. It's so well written. It's narrated by Chanel Miller herself, so I absolutely love that. And yeah, just highly recommend that audiobook. So if you want to listen to that audiobook or any of the other titles in the Audible catalog, you can go to audible.com/bookswithchloe or text bookswithchloe to 500 to get a 30-day free trial. Highly recommend using that and taking advantage of that offer because Audible is amazing and I use them like every day basically. So thank you so much to Audible for sponsoring this video. The first book that I absolutely need to read, All's Well by Mona Awad. I have this beautiful ARC copy that I was sent from Simon & Schuster, so very thankful to them. This is the UK edition that comes out in February, so hopefully I can read it before then, but I can't believe I haven't read this yet. I know it comes out in February, like the UK edition, but the US edition is actually already out. I think it came out in August, but I wasn't really a fan of the US cover, to be honest, so that's why I haven't read it yet. But obviously Mona Awad wrote Bunny, my favorite book, so disgusting that I haven't read this. And basically this is the story of a woman at her breaking point and a formidable, piercingly funny indictment of our collective refusal to witness and believe female pain. Caitlin has already read this and she loves it, and she's obviously really excited for me to read it, so yeah. Very excited to read this. Mona Awad just has such a unique writing style, which obviously I'm obsessed with, so I can't wait to see how she's written this. And obviously if it's about the fact that no one believes female pain, like, yeah, I'm all about that because obviously that annoys me. Thank you, Mona Awad, for your existence. Then I have The Drifting Classroom, which is a horror manga. It's very big. This is like book one. Yeah. But this looks like a fun time. I love horror manga, and whenever I look up horror manga recommendations, this is one of the top ones. And this is apparently a horror classic in Japan. So basically, out of nowhere, an entire school vanishes, leaving nothing but a hole in the ground. And the students and teachers are not dead, but they are stranded in a terrifying wasteland where they must fight to survive. So definitely very interesting premise. And then of course in 2022, I want to read some more classics, because I read Wuthering Heights this year and absolutely loved it, and I was like, wow, I definitely need to read more. So I have a few on my list. I wanted to add some more, but I didn't want to stress myself out too much. So obviously I'll read more if I want to, like I'm not limited to this. But my top classics that I want to read: Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This is like a mystery thriller vibe. Obviously it's a classic. I have this stunning edition. Caitlin thinks I'm gonna love this. Hopefully I'm gonna love it. It literally says a stunning book on the back. Then I want to read Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and Caitlin, who I keep mentioning if you don't know Caitlin from Kate Literature, she has a Patreon and she is going to be doing like a Jane Austen buddy read throughout 2022. So I'm definitely gonna try to join in all of them. Obviously I'm not gonna put too much pressure on myself because I'm only just getting more into classics now, but I'm gonna try. Also, actually, a lot of Jane Austen's audiobooks have like a full cast, so I'll probably listen to most of them on audio, so that will be very stunning. And obviously Audible has all of them. But I want to read Pride and Prejudice for sure because I love the movie, and Caitlin said that she watched the movie and then read the book, and she said that that made it an even better experience, and I feel like it'll be the same for me in this case. So yeah, I'm really happy I watched the movie. Obviously love the movie. I actually watched it with Caitlin. How many times do I want to mention Caitlin? It's gonna happen a lot more, to be honest, in this video. Yes, I have this stunning Penguins Classics Deluxe Edition, which is beautiful. But yeah, I think this will be so much fun. I can't wait. Then I need to read Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. It's very, very shocking that I haven't read this. I read Chain of Gold. I read it really quickly, absolutely loved it. It became my new favorite Shadowhunters book. Like, I fell in love. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to wait so long till Chain of Iron comes out. And then Chain of Iron came out and I got to page 144 and I didn't finish it. I really love what I've read so far, but I think it just wasn't the time for me to read it. And because I've been kind of weird with fantasy lately, like I just haven't been as excited about it, you know. I don't know. Anyway, it's gonna happen in 2022, especially because Caitlin read Chain of Gold. I've been waiting for her to read Chain of Gold and she read it. She loved it. So Kevin, Caitlin and I can all buddy read Chain of Iron, which will be a stunning moment. And then we can read Chain of Thorns coming out in November. And that is the final book in this series. So yeah, that will just be so fun. And I'm excited because I love these characters. I love this world, obviously. Like, it's just very comforting to me. So hopefully this will happen in like the beginning of the year. Then I have A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. I heard about this book from my friend Rita, who loves this book, and we really have a similar taste in books. So I looked it up, and stunning cover. And basically this is a satire of early foodieism, a critique of how gender is defined, and a showcase of virtuoso storytelling. So apparently this introduces us to the food world's most charming psychopath. I'm very excited about this. Then I want to read Luster by Raven Leilani. This is a contemporary book that I've heard really good things about, and it's basically just about, you know, what it's like to be young now. It's supposed to be funny, razor sharp. So yeah. Also, of course, once again, stunning cover. And in 2022, I want to read a lot more poetry and short stories. I don't have any poetry on my list, actually. But that's because my poetry collection is quite limited, but I'll definitely be buying more over the year. But anyway, I really want to read Never Have I Ever by Isabel Yap. This is a collection of spells and stories, urban legends, and immigrant tales. And this explores themes ranging from monstrousness, shared trauma, and systemic violence, to friendship and the ambiguity of love. So yes, very excited about this, and I just feel like it'll be really nice to read a short story every now and then, you know, so I can just like have this on my bedside table, not read it like a typical book where I would read it like all at once sort of thing, unless I get really hooked and then I just want to read the whole thing. But you know, I am very excited about this. Then I want to read Culty by Marina Zapata. I'm very excited for this because I love Marina Zapata, especially Always Lead Here, From Look Up With Love, and The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. But yes, Culty is another slow burn sports adult romance, and this is definitely one of Marina Zapata's most praised books, and I do think I'm gonna love it. And the love interest is a soccer icon. The main character also plays soccer, and I believe she actually falls in love with her coach. Anyway, very excited for a hopefully stunning slow burn sports romance. The next book, The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I'm very excited for this because I read The Night Circus in 2021. Absolutely loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. So magical, so unique. The writing is on a whole new level. So of course I need to read Erin Morgenstern's other book, The Starless Sea. I'm very, very curious to see if I like this even more than The Night Circus. It definitely sounds promising. I think it has kind of a confusing plot. And to be honest, I don't really want to know much about it before I go in, because I've heard that it's better to just go in not knowing much. And I actually did get up to page like 3 or something. I tried to read this ages ago, like years ago, but I wasn't in the mood for it. Even though actually I loved it, but I don't know what happened. Anyway, but the opening is stunning. Far beneath the surface of the earth, hidden from the sun and the moon, upon the shores of the starless sea, there is a labyrinthine collection of tunnels and rooms filled with stories. Then I really need to read Love and Virtue by Diana Reid. Now, I heard about this book from my friend April, who messaged me and said that this is supposed to be like Sally Rooney vibes. And this is actually an Australian author, which I definitely want to read more of. And this sounds stunning. Also, stunning cover. Look at that. Basically, this is set at an Australian university, and it follows 2 women who live in adjacent rooms at the university, and they're very different from each other. And then something happens one night in O Week, a drunken encounter, a foggy memory that will force them to confront the realities of consent and wrestle with the dynamics of power. So yes, this is definitely high up there. If I don't read this in 2022, I'll be very surprised, because I really can't stop thinking about it ever since I got it. Speaking of Sally Rooney, I need to read Beautiful World, Where Are You? Because fake fan here hasn't read it. I absolutely love Sally Rooney. If you don't know, Normal People is one of my favorite books of all time. Also love her other book, Conversations with Friends, and I've not read Beautiful World, Where Are You? But don't worry, that will definitely change in 2022. So basically this follows 2 couples, and you know, it's about like love, connection, friendships, all that. And I just love the way that Sally Rooney writes and sees the world and puts thoughts into words. I just absolutely adore her writing. So I'm sure I'm gonna love this, and I cannot wait. And I'm also curious because once again, Caitlin read this and she said it took her a bit to like fully get into it, but then she absolutely loved it. So yeah, I'm just very curious to see how I feel about it. Then I really want to read Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder. I was supposed to have read this already, but the end of 2021 has been really busy. But basically this is a really like weird horror book, and it just seems like it's really going to be my vibe. So very excited. Especially because I did read the opening in a TBR video once and it was stunning. I guess I'll read it again. When she had referred to herself as Night Bitch, she meant it as a good-natured, self-deprecating joke, because that's the sort of lady she was, a good sport, able to poke fun at herself, definitely not uptight, not wound really tight, not so freakishly tight that she couldn't see the humour in a light-hearted, not meant as an insult situation. But in the days following this new naming, she found the patch of coarse black hair sprouting from the base of her neck and was like, what the fuck? How amazing is that opening? So I think it's going to be a really weird and stunning time. Then I really want to read another, which is a light novel. I've heard the anime is also really good, so I want to read this and then watch the anime. But basically this follows Koichi, who transfers to Yomiyama Middle School. And in class he develops this sense of unease where he feels like everyone is walking on eggshells around him. And then a chain of horrific deaths happen. And then he discovers that his class is haunted by a vengeful spirit, so he tries to get to the bottom of it and everything. But yeah, it just sounds like so fun. I love a vengeful spirit vibe. Then I want to read Ariadne. Once again, Caitlin read this and loved it. So of course I want to read it too, because she told me that she thinks I'm gonna love it. She read me some of the stunning quotes from this book and it really sounds beautiful. It's supposed to just be a celebration of women. It's also based on Greek mythology, and I read and loved the Song of Achilles in 2021. So I want to read more Greek mythology retellings. And obviously if this is women focused, thank you. The next book I want to read is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This is definitely one of the most hyped romance books of 2021, and I really want to read it to see if I think it lives up to the hype. I actually might read it for another like reading book talk books, because this is all over book talk. And basically this is like Raylo fanfic, so it's like two scientists in love, I believe. Fake dating, I believe. Yes, fake relationship between scientists, yeah. So seems like a fun time, and once again very excited to see if I'm obsessed with it like everyone else seems to be. And then another romance I want to read is From the Cup with Love. I actually mentioned this earlier when I was talking about culty, but yeah, I've already read this. I want to reread it because I read it years ago and I loved it at the time, but I feel like I'll love it even more now. And I have this physical copy so I can fully annotate it and everything, and I'm just so excited. I just love this book. It's basically a slow burn sports romance, and we have the stunning characters Jasmine and Ivan Lukov, and they hate each other, so it's enemies to lovers as well. And it involves figure skating. They're figure skating partners, they're forced to work together, and it's just everything. So literally can't wait to reread this. Then I really want to read Lonely Castle in the Mirror. Let's take a moment for the stunning cover. This is described as strange and beautiful, and that's a stunning combination if you ask me. And this is supposed to be like a magical, stunning story, and it's basically about 7 teenagers in Tokyo who wake up to find their bedroom mirrors are shining. And at a single touch, they are pulled from their lonely lives to a wondrous castle filled with winding staircases, watchful portraits, and twinkling chandeliers. But there's a catch. If they don't leave by 5 o'clock, they will all be punished. And as time passes, they begin to realize only those brave enough to share their stories will be saved. Like, doesn't that sound so stunning? Honestly, I just want to start it right now. Like, wow. And then I want to read In the Dream House. This is a memoir, but apparently it's a very like unique memoir. It's not a typical memoir. So it says that each chapter uses a different narrative lens and examines them from different angles. She casts a critical eye over legal proceedings, fairy tales, Disney villains, and more, infusing everything with her characteristic playfulness and openness. So I believe this deals with abuse, so I know it's going to be a hard read, but I've heard that it's very well done, so I'm really looking forward to it. Then I really want to read Acts of Desperation. This is supposed to be an anti-romance, and it's about the seductive destruction of trying to find self-worth in the gaze of another. I've definitely struggled with this in the past, so I'm very curious about this book, and I just have really high hopes. And actually, when I was preparing this video, I looked this up and I saw there was an article that said something like, if normal people broke you, Acts of Desperation will split you in half. So a little scary, but very exciting. I really hope I love it because I have really high hopes. Then I really want to read Paradise Rot. And basically this is like a quiet horror novel. It basically follows Jo, who is in a strange new country for university and having a peculiar time. She's in a house with no walls, shared with a woman who has no boundaries. This is basically a heady and hypersensual portrayal of sexual awakening and queer desire. I've heard really good things about this, and obviously it's very short, so I'm sure I can read it even in one sitting. And yeah, I'm just really excited about this. I'm just really loving like weird adult horror fiction, so thank you. And finally, I want to read Warlight, and I don't even know what this is about. Caitlin got this for me, and we really have similar book tastes, and obviously she gave it to me. I really want to read it. And she gave me this book on the 26th of April. And she wrote, "Chloe, hope you enjoy this beautiful language by one of my favorite authors." So hopefully I love it. So those are the top 22 books that I need to read. Hopefully I can do it. I definitely think I'll get to at least half of them. Like if I don't, that would just be very shocking to me because I'm like very, very, very excited for all these books. Like I said before, I just think 2022 is going to be the year for reading. I'm so excited, and I'm very excited that I get to share my reading journey with all you guys too. So thank you so much for your support always. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to know which books you really want to get to in 2022. And once again, thank you so much to Audible for sponsoring this video. And don't forget, you can go to audible.com/bookswithchloe or text bookswithchloe to 500 to get a 30-day free trial of Audible. If you're looking for more content from me, I have a Patreon, which is where I upload extra content like extra reading vlogs. We do a monthly live show, we do a monthly buddy read. In January, we are buddy reading Gone Girl. Very excited. That's always linked below, as well as my socials, including my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/gamewithchloe, and that is where I stream games and just chatting. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you're all having a good day or night, and I'll see you in my next video.